I've always wanted to be a part of an after-school special. I'm like, you know what? An important after-school special.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, it's always been my dream. So this is kind of like an after-school special, a special edition of Behind the Star.
Yep.
It is.
Because we are in it. It is March. It is spring break. It is here.
It is.
Yes, we had to hit the ground running.
Yes. Absolutely.
It comes around every year,
but stay ready.
We don't just plan for it a little bit of the year. We plan for it all the time.
Absolutely.
And once it ends, we start thinking about what we could do better and then get ready for the next year. So what have you been doing? What have we been doing and you've been having your people do?
So, we're always, due to our history here in Bay County and the fact that, in the 2008, 2015 time frame, things really devolved every year to the point where I'm proud to say our community stood up and said that they'd had enough of the criminal behavior, gave us a clear mandate to crack down on that, and I think we've really turned a corner. It was a partnership between the city commission at the Panama City Beach, the county commission, the beach police, the sheriff's office, Panama City Police, really all of us together in the community saying this does not reflect our values, this criminal behavior. We want people to come and enjoy our beaches. That's what, that's one of our main economic drivers here is tourism. But we expect people to obey the laws and to not create havoc when they're here. And we've certainly, going back to the older spring break days where it was 6 weeks of absolute havoc and dangerous situations for our deputies and for citizens. We're finally able to get that under control. And then what we've seen over the past several years is monitoring what's referred to as the takeover events, where we have promoters on social media will create an event of some kind. And we've seen those go viral where a lot of people are intending to come. They kind of get out of control. And 2 years ago is when we had the big spring break takeover event where we basically brought everybody that all hands on deck here at the sheriff's office and all of our police departments together to get that under control. And I forget the exact statistics, but it was, over 150 arrests and I believe 75 illegal guns seized off the street in just 2 nights.
Yeah.
And, we took a firm stand on that. And again, our community stood behind us on that. So it's a good feeling as sheriff and our police chiefs to know that we're going in the direction that the community wants by maintaining order in those type of situations.
It seems like we're really starting to chip away at people, at discouraging people who want to not act right from coming, because I'm seeing more on social media like, hey, if you're planning on coming and messing around in Bay County, don't do it. I'm seeing that more now than I've ever seen before.
Right.
And I think it's because of the preparation, because of the press conferences that you were holding in February even.
Yes.
And just the year-long preparation just for this month.
And I think that allows the true spring break to flourish but to be a safe event. So, and we've got great partnerships with our police departments, all rowing in the same direction on ensuring that we are monitoring social media and other intelligence resources that we have to make sure that we don't have another one of those situations brewing. And I would say, for this upcoming year, I'm cautiously optimistic, although we always maintain our guard to make sure that we don't have one of those situations that's coming up and going to cause us some problems.
Now, the month of March brings in new ordinances that we have to enforce for the month of March. I want to go down a list of all these because there's quite a few, and the big one is the no consumption of alcoholic beverages on the sandy beaches. That still stands.
That's correct. That's within the unincorporated areas as well as Panama City Beach area. And I think that really, if you will, the alcohol was the fuel to the fire. And taking that off the beach, it really allowed things to become much more controllable, because we would see people down on the beach drinking copious amounts of alcohol to the point that it would devolve to near riot conditions down on the sand. So that did help us get it under control. It's something that I think that we need to maintain. Because if you look at the history of spring break and the 2013 to 15 time period, we did a lot of research on the history of spring break. Sheriff McKeithen and I presented to the Florida Sheriff's Association on that, and it's the area that tolerates the most lawless behavior is where
everybody wants to
where
go.
everybody's gonna
Yeah.
gonna flow. And it started in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale got fed up with it in the
Right.
late 80s, early 90s.
Yes.
Daytona welcomed with open arms, did it for a few years until they cracked down. Then it came here. We had it quite a long time, quite a
Long
bit too long.
Yes.
And when we cracked down, they went to Miami. And
They've
that's
had
where
some
you've
recent
seen
problems,
some really
and
big
now
problems.
they're really come out strong. We're not going to tolerate it.
Absolutely.
When it comes to drinking on the sandy beaches too, I know people think I've seen hide it in a Yeti cup or whatever. Listen, our deputies know. Like we can tell.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So it
fairly
will not
easy.
be tolerated, and that includes parking lots as
Yes.
well. Because and I can't remember who it was that said this. Why would you come to Panama City Beach, Florida, and just hang out and party in a parking lot? But it happens, and it's almost spontaneously, and they're all drinking. But you can't do that either.
Right. It's a prohibition as well.
So there's another one. Anyone under the age of 21 can't be inside establishments serving alcohol and licensed for consumption on premises after midnight. That's
correct.
If you want to elaborate on that one, that would be great because
Kind of
we have
explain-
questions too.
Yeah, what that means.
Right. So if anybody under 21 that after midnight can't be in those licensed establishments, that helps kind of the situation to calm down at an earlier time. I think we've got the bars closing at 2 a.m. as well during
Are
that
these
time frame, because
primarily-
we used to have our period of operation, in the really bad times of spring break was so long that our people were just
Exhausted.
they were going wide open until 4 and 5 in the morning, 5 and 6 in the morning with the cleanup from when the bars closed. So
Yeah, I remember that. Does this include like restaurants that serve alcohol, or is these establishments that are primarily alcohol and not food?
primarily the alcohol establishments.
Consumptions, and unless you are a military person with an
That's
ID.
correct. There is
that
a-
is the
there is a
exemption.
Exception. Yeah.
Okay, law enforcement officers and the nuisance party.
Right.
Okay.
We'd see situations in particular when you look at Airbnb and things like that where, a group would rent a house and then turn that into a nightclub. Basically, they would advertise it on social media. Hundreds of people would invade a neighborhood, parking in neighbors' yards, creating really bad situations. A county commission did give us some authority to shut down those nuisance houses, which was a really good tool for us. But I think probably the best tool that we've been able to use, especially when you look at the takeover from 2 years ago, and then our preventative efforts last year, where we really didn't see one of those events, is the use of a tool that the governor and the legislature gave us 2 years ago that dealt with special event zones.
Right.
And so what the criteria is, if there's somebody that's promoting an event, an unpermitted event on social media that's expect to attract over 50 people, that's going to cause traffic and occupancy problems at locations, when we can declare a special event zone. And we worked with Chief Smith and Chief Talamentez to do that in the problem areas. We did it out to the Thomas Drive area, abutting this Panama City Beach city limits, Front Beach Road, the Strip area, the Long Beach area. Panama City did it on West 98, where we're having some problems with some of the clubs there. And it gives us some powerful tools. Number one, it allows us to, when we write a moving or non-moving violation, the fines are doubled. We can tow vehicles from that area. But one of the main tools that provides us is that the promoter can be held responsible for the public safety costs if one of those events gets out of control in a
huge.
special
That
event
is
zone.
big, big.
So what we have done is, in our research on social media and identifying who these promoters are, we are Beach Police, Sheriff's Office, we're reaching out proactively to these people, informing them of the law, saying we're going to create a special event zone, and if this gets out of control, you are going to be on the hook for the public safety costs, which is fire, EMS, police. Could very easily be in the six figures, would be in the six figures with an event. And the way that would work is I as the sheriff, the city of Panama City Beach, depending on where it would happen, would sue that promoter in court to recover those costs. And the law fully allows us to do that. So by having that stick and communicating that to them, most of them have decided it's not worth continuing to promote this event. So that's kind of our approach last year. This year as well, we're continuing to monitor the social media. I don't ever want to say that there's not going to be an event that causes us issues, because there are limitations to, our monitoring, and we're basically just looking at social media for an event that would be a cause of concern.
Yeah.
Right.
But cautiously optimistic for this year, and we're prepared to handle whatever comes our way.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to digging holes on the beach as well, that's one that people kind of are like, why is that such a big
why
deal?
is that
But
so
it really is.
significant? It's very dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous.
It's dangerous. In fact, there was a situation here within the past week or two on a beach where a sand hole collapsed on a young lady, and she passed away. It was not here. It was somewhere else. But there's that. There's also leaving those uncovered at night where somebody could fall in them, hurt themselves. So there was some some valid
and baby
reasons
turtles.
for that.
It affects baby turtles too.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't forget them as well. Also illegal to operate a rented scooter.
Right.
Still at night.
Right.
Because that was really dangerous.
Yeah, it was. It
Presenting danger
caused
to
us a lot of
others.
problems with the scooters and not obeying the traffic laws and just the amount. So that all of these are tools that help keep this spring break as a fun event, but within rules and not allowing it to devolve into mayhem like it has in the past.
Yeah, way in the past.
Yeah, and I think that's the message that we're trying to send to families really is, absolutely come here for spring break. But if you're not going to abide by these rules and if you're going to cause havoc, then stay away.
Yeah, this is a family destination. It's also, welcome for college students. They've been a big part of, the growth of Panama City Beach and our area. But we expect people to abide by the rules. I like to say that the TDC's slogan is that we've got a real fun beach, but we do not have a real fun jail. And but
I've been there.
we're all we need to talk about that. We all work together here with the Panama City Beach Police Department, Panama City, all the agencies together. We actually have state resources. The governor has committed whatever state resources we need this year to come in and help. Helping Miami as well. So we've been communicating with FWC and FHP. They're fully available and ready to send whatever we should need.
Sure, and support us. So your message to students and families is we love that you want to come to Panama City Beach, but follow the rules.
Absolutely.
And to those who come here for criminal purposes, because a lot of the trouble that we have had in the past have been people who really weren't in college anywhere. They just wanted to come because the college students were going to be here. So
Right.
to prey upon them and to
Take
cause
advantage.
trouble, take
Yeah.
advantage
Absolutely.
of them.
We've seen robberies and sexual assaults and gang turf wars coming from other areas and being carried out on our streets, or arguments with groups with firearms and shootings. Really the kind of the catalyst for the spring break change was in 2015 when we had the house party shooting where 7 people were shot. But 2 years ago the spring break takeover was equally as dangerous. There was several shootings that weekend, but
Right.
it could have been so much worse. But we really flooded the zone with enough law enforcement resources to regain control.
I remember seeing that video. That was pretty powerful.
Yep.
Of all the people running
Right.
because the shots had been fired.
I'll tell you, for an after-school special, I'm
This is
happy to be
pretty
part
serious.
of it. Yeah.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock. Zero tolerance for criminal behavior.
That's right. And we, the deputies and officers that work those events are the true heroes in this and the ones that really allow us to maintain order and have the type of community that all of our citizens want and deserve.
They are passionate, by the way, when they're out on those streets for spring break. They are passionate about making sure that everything keeps in line. So
Absolutely.
thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate you
All right.
guys.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for coming in.
Yep.